Well, you made it through the summer. The calendar has turned. It is September. The leaves are going to be falling from the trees. The Jets are going to be winning the Super Bowl. And the Knicks are going to the NBA Finals. It's going to really be a great, great run starting today. Oh, good morning, everybody. That's David Jacoby right there. That Super Bowl champ, Mr. Plaxico Burress right there. And here's my main man, the legend of Tallahassee, Antonio Cromartie. What's good, everybody? Good to have you here. It is Friday. It is the last Friday before the NFL season officially begins. And let's do what we always do. Start you off with Friday morning headlines. Oh, my main man, Aaron Rodgers, in a lengthy interview yesterday said he is living in a dream. That blank could have been different a few years ago. He's actually got friends, and he was talking to one of his friends, and he said this entire experience is like waking up inside of a dream. And he went on and on and on to say, you know when you wake up inside of a great dream, and then you go back to bed, and you try to put yourself back in the dream, but you can't? He's living it as if he can. The New York Jets represent perfection. Bo Derek 10 to Aaron Rodgers. And I am loving it.
Will the dream become a nightmare? What week? What week does the dream become a nightmare?
I'm here for this. I'm telling you, there's too much positivity about the Jets, not just on this show, which there's a lot, to be honest, but in the world.
Yeah.
I feel like this dream has the potential to turn into a nightmare, especially in the first 6 weeks.
The New York Jets right now are the blind squirrel, and this is our year to get that nut, Crow. That may have sounded awkward. I didn't mean it.
But then it came to me.
Expound on that, Crow.
Exactly.
You can let that one go.
This is what I feel.
Go ahead.
This is what I feel. I think with Aaron Rodgers right now, he was disgruntled in Green Bay. He has new life here at the Jets. And I think you're having the young guys, he's been around, and he's taking guys out to dinners, trying to get to know the guys, going to basketball, hockey games, doing everything. And I think for him, it's just been around Hackett, been around the guys he's familiar with. I think this is just new life for him. It's a new beginning. It's another stage where he can come into this place and actually try to go out and go win a Super Bowl, take this team to the playoffs, and go from there.
Look, there's a lot to be said for you guys in your careers, at the height of your careers, went from one franchise to another. Not the level maybe of Aaron Rodgers that late in his career, but you probably experienced something similar, right?
Not to this degree. I mean, have you ever been to Alberton, Wisconsin?
I've never been there.
Right. So I've been there, and I've taken that drive from the hotel to Lambeau Field, and there's not a lot out there in Green Bay. So when he says he's waking up in a dream, anything outside of Green Bay at this point, when you spend 19 years of your career in Green Bay, New Jersey looks like a dream.
Yeah, I got it. I
get it. I understand where he's coming from. It's something fresh. It's new to him. And he's understanding what playing in the Big Apple is like from a media standpoint.
Yeah. All positive,
and the expectations of winning. And just like Jacoby just said, the dreams can turn into a nightmare real quick.
And listen,
they have to really get off to a good
There's
start.
a flip side to that. We've all lived it, right? Where, it's great when you're high and you're winning Super Bowls and everyone adores you and you're the man about town.
Yes.
And those same people that build you up and want to give you free dinner, all of a sudden when things go south, where'd everybody go? And why am I buying wings? And much more on Aaron Rodgers coming up throughout the morning today. Your second headline, interesting one. Zach Taylor came out and talked about Joe Burrow. Obviously, the big question is he going to play in week one? He's practicing, so it certainly looks like it's leaning in that direction. But kind of mixed messaging here because Zach Taylor came out and said, we are taking it day by day. Separate from that, the offensive coordinator came out and said, we have a plan for week one. Right. I'm assuming that plan is not 40 carries by Joe Mixon.
No, but look, this is what I have to say. It's not even week one yet, really.
Right.
It's going into, we don't have the coaches, organizations, they don't have to talk about no injuries. They don't have to say anything right now until we get into that week. So I right now, they're just playing it how they're supposed to.
Well, that week starts in about 72 hours.
Yeah,
though.
but you know what? I don't have to tell you anything about injuries. I don't have to tell you about my starter. They can go out and say, look, right now we don't know who's going to start for us.
Right.
Just like like Belichick is going to do right now. But at the end of the day, this is how they're going to keep their stuff in house. They want to make sure that Joe Burrow is doing what he's supposed to do health wise. We know he's going to play week 1.
I mean, how could he not, right? If he's out there practicing, and he has back-to-back days now this week, although those practices are closed to the public, you have to assume he is going to be ready to go week 1.
Oh, he will be playing week 1. There's no doubt about it. But that is what a head coach and staff does as far as injuries are concerned, just like Trevor was saying just then. You really don't want to give the other team any advantages moving forward as far as from a scouting report standpoint, but make no mistake about it, he will be under center next week.
All right, a little baseball here at the top of the show as far as headlines go, because yesterday one of the great players in all baseball, Ronald Acuña Jr., plays for Atlanta. Bang, that's a grand slam. Home run right there. That ball's still traveling, as a matter of fact. Yes, and right, that's a Yahtzee shot right there. He's now the first player in the history of Major League Baseball to hit 30 home runs, steal 60 bases, get tackled by a fan, and get married before a nighttime game during the regular season. He is your National League MVP. That guy is money. That's all he is money.
I mean, they've been playing baseball for a long time, and 30 home runs and 60 stolen bases, that's two different people. Usually the people that steal 60 bases do not hit 30 home runs. I'm really curious about how his wife feels about this day. I'm sure she's very happy.
Got married?
Got married.
Yeah.
Got married early in the day. Look at that beautiful ceremony outdoors in the Los Angeles sunshine. But I don't imagine she imagined on her wedding day that her husband's going to go to work. She was going to go watch him go to work.
I think men and women, because I don't get them out of me, but when the guy that's worth about $300 million says, let's get married today, who's saying no to that?
But look, this is what I'm going to say too, though. But look, they got married at City Hall, right?
It's in Los Angeles, an outdoor ceremony.
Outdoor ceremony, but it wasn't a quick.
They didn't plan it for months.
There you go. But those are marriages that last longer.
There you go.
California. Those are the marriages that last longer. Then he goes out and go hit a home run. Oh man, I'm talking about he was living the best day of his life.
He's like, good for you, baby.
He definitely had a good morning.
The Braves are also arguably the best team in baseball, so keep an eye on them. But what he did last night has never been done before.
That's
and
awesome.
one more very quick baseball note before we get out of here. The Yankees are owned by Hal Steinbrenner, George Steinbrenner, his son. And it's the worst year in the last 25 years for the New York Yankees. They're looking at an under 500 season. But good news, Yankee fans. Hal Steinbrenner is excited about September. Right there at the bottom of your screen. I think it'll be exciting. Under 500, $280 million payroll. Going to come in dead last. But we're bringing the kids up. And that's going to be exciting, Yankee fans. Can you feel it?
What kids are they bringing up?
Jason Dominguez. That's the one they care about.
I just don't even understand how he said we're going to learn a lot in September about the guys that we're bringing up. Well, you should have bought them up 2 months ago.
Yeah, when the season was in peril.
Thank you. At least. If you're going to raise the ticket prices 10% next year, give the fans something to be excited for moving forward. But because of right now, in 1 month, learning a lot about your team, well, you should have started that.
Which is why in New York, people are very, very happy that both the Jets and the Giants look like they're going to have good seasons because the Mets and the Yankees screwed all of us. And I know everywhere else around the country is like, ha, 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 screw you, New York. We feel that, and that hurts. Coming up, we got some expectations on the New York Jets. We got Joe Douglas talking about he ain't afraid of thinking that the New York Jets are going to be really, really good. But if you're a Bills fan, Patriots fan, Dolphins fan, Chiefs fan, Ravens fan, a fan of any other AFC team, your worst nightmare is knocking on the door. It may seem like we talk about the Jets a lot on this show.
Yeah, we do. Too much. Some might say too much.
Let's go! Thank you, Carl. Jets.
There we go.
Anyhow, the architect of this hopefully great Jets season is the general manager named Joe Douglas. And obviously with expectations come, how do you handle expectations, right? Well, Joe Douglas said yesterday, the New York Jets are not hiding from the lofty goals and expectations that we all have for him. Listen to the general manager. Go ahead.
I said it earlier. We're not running. We're hiding from any expectations that are out there. I think when the dust settles, you want to be in the conversation as one of those teams that can compete for a Super Bowl. You get a ticket into the dance and anything happens.
Yeah, look, it's funny. It's new for us to have expectations of Super Bowls, obviously. We had expectations of playoffs. You guys know that obviously better than anybody. But, that's why you played, is to try to win, right? So the fact that anybody, a general manager, an executive, a player inside the building would be uncomfortable with expectations doesn't make any sense. We as fans may not be comfortable with it, but those guys better be comfortable.
Definitely. I mean, it's expectations. And you have your expectations for your own stuff in that organization. You know what you want to do. You know what you want to accomplish. First off, you want to end the playoff drought. That's
right.
One of the first things you want to do.
Longest in all of pro sports.
Haven't been in 13 years. So it's just like, that's one of our expectations. You want to get into, once you get into the dance, it's all about who's playing good on that day.
Right.
That's all it is. So not hiding, not running. I love it, Joe Douglas. Just letting you know.
There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. I mean,
it's not.
The season starts next week.
But you know what it is, and you know how the New York media is, and they boost us up, and when they want to tear us down, we lose one game.
Absolutely,
we can lose one game. This is not the team that we thought it was going to be.
Right. Which is why they do have to beat the Buffalo Bills out of the gate. And no Von Miller, but when you talk about expectations and whether or not a team is built to handle it, there are going to be low moments in the season.
Yes.
If the New York Jets get out to a bad start, and they lose to Buffalo and lose to Dallas right out of the gate, we'll see how much you can handle expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping that they do get off to a good start because of that, because you still have some young players who really haven't dealt with any adversity in their young NFL careers, especially playing here. I mean, I've played with guys that were in free agency. They would not come to play in New York just because of that reason.
Because they couldn't handle it.
Just because of the scrutiny and the criticism that comes with it. When I came from Pittsburgh, there were 4 or 5 reporters in the locker room. I come to New York, it's like 40 or 50 every day.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between standards and expectations, especially when you're Douglas and you bring in a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and everybody's expecting for him to just turn the whole organization around in 1 year. They have to get off to a good start. If not, then the media's going to pick them up.
Well, let me tell you something. You said something interesting there. I don't think it's a one-year experiment. Aaron Rodgers talked about expectations yesterday as well. And he said, look, here's the reality. And this happens whenever you're a team that a lot of people think are going to be good and maybe win a title. Everybody else hates on you, no matter who you are. And Aaron Rodgers speaks about that. Obviously, we got expectations. This is like the Black Crow thing that Salah was talking about week 1 of Hard Knocks. There's a lot of people pulling for us to fall flat. Let me just walk you through that, Jacoby.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Those people have a name. They're called Giants fans.
Well,
yeah, that's what they're called.
Even the Jet fans are sitting at home like, man, I hope we get off to a good start.
Yeah, but the Giant fan is rooting for them to get off to a bad start. Yes. That's what those people are called.
Rooting for them to get off to a bad start.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not looking for them to fall flat. He just has to understand what he is dealing with coming to New York.
It's different. I know.
It is different.
So let me help you out.
It's a lot different than playing in Green Bay.
Now, Jacoby, you live in New York City. You know what it is.
Yep.
And I'm telling you this, I've lived this, right? Giant fans right now, emotionally, are rooting. They're going to like their black voodoo dolls and trying to guarantee that the Jets do not have a successful season.
The Giants won a playoff game last year against the Vikings.
Say it again.
They won a playoff game last year.
Right.
However, if you're a Giant or a Giants fan, you're like, what happened to us? No one talks about the Giants at all. And we talk about happiness is a function of realistic expectations. And what has happened is the Jets have, by the roster changes they've made, they have raised the expectations to a Super Bowl level, and that's fair. And I want to say something about the detractors and the crows that are trying to pull the Jets down.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be that. I want to hate this Jets team. Yeah. I want to be like the anti-Jets guy. I can't. You watch Hard Knocks? I can't do it. I'm watching
That's tough.
Quentin Williams is so much better. Aaron Rodgers is so nice. I'm trying to hate the Jets. I can't do it. Coach Saleh is he's such a magnetic personality. Aaron Rodgers is teaching the little kids and taking everybody to Broadway shows. Like, this team is very, very
I will say this.
It
It is interesting what Plax just said. There's some people that naturally just don't want the Jets to do well. You're trying to
I'm trying.
convince
He's trying to find I'm trying. They're just so likable.
Listen, it's
I'm failing at hating.
go to any city that's got two teams in one sport, and I can tell you as a fact, the fans of the other team don't want the other inner city team to do well. Giant fans, their biggest nightmare is not even missing the playoffs. It's missing the playoffs and the Jets being in the playoffs and being the toast of the town. That's a reality.
We're going to find out real soon.
Yes, we are. And I know what Plax is going to do.
Isn't there something good about the Jets attracting all of this attention if you are the Giants?
Hey,
Isn't there some benefits
you
to that?
just said that they just made a whole roster change. They did not. They added one person.
And a running back and a couple receivers. There's all the skill positions
the whole
on the
team
offensive
came
side.
from Green Bay, and they came over here.
We did bring in a few guys from Green Bay.
Just a few. They're probably hitting them with the same
Look,
record.
I can tell you this. These two things I'm holding here are newspapers. I don't know when you uses them or reads them anymore, but in New York, they're still a relatively important thing. The teams locally fight for the back page. When Aaron Rodgers is on the back page of the local newspaper, the New York Giants get ticked off. How come we're not on the back page?
Nobody's worried about that.
Civil War time, Plax. Civil War.
All I can say is that the AFC is a lot more difficult than the NFC, so the Giants have
Very
a fighting
true.
chance.
They certainly have a fighting chance, and they're very well coached, and they have a $40 million quarterback who's not very good. All right, we got much more coming up. You sort of did that, Crow. Jamar Chase spoke yesterday regarding his relationship with Joe Burrow and how the Bengals expect to perform this season. And it's our first weekly endeavor into overs and unders right here on FS1. That's Joe Burrow. Take a guess who he's throwing the ball to. That's right. He's not stupid. Jamar Chase is always open. So Jamar Chase gets the rock. Now, speaking of that relationship, Jamar Chase talked about how he's very dialed in right now with Joe Burrow, which, to be fair, doesn't make a lot of sense considering Joe Burrow hasn't practiced but one time since July 27th. So how could you possibly be more dialed in this year when you haven't been on the field with the guy in 5 weeks, Crow?
That's what he says.
Yeah, but he's not.
The media's not there for whole practice. We don't know what's going on.
Right.
We don't know
Also
what's going
true.
on in the indoor.
Yeah, we
or the
don't know
bubble.
what's going on.
You know, but I think what he means by that is just you got 3 full seasons. You got 3 full seasons. We're going into the third full season where they can play together. I think being around guys, they all understand each other exactly what it needs to be. So being dialed in is just like, look, he probably didn't practice, but we know exactly what he wants. We know exactly where we want to be. We have meetings and understanding where we got to be with him and where he wants us to be.
Yeah, look, they're one of the great duos in football when they're obviously both on the field. How long does it take? Like, is it literally one practice and you guys are straight and good to go?
It takes longer than that, but just like Crow said, those guys have been playing together for 3 full seasons. And from a trio standpoint, I think the Cincinnati Bengals have the best 3 wide receivers as a trio all together. And just like Jamar Chase said, he's dialed in. Burrow doesn't take me as a person from a character makeup of being a slacker.
Right. No, I agree with you on that.
He's had a lot of success. So you expect him to keep getting better with those guys that he's playing with.
Look, he's a gym rat, and obviously from the day he got in the league, unfortunately had the torn ACL, he was the best rookie quarterback in football, and one of the best quarterbacks in football, even going back to his rookie season. It's interesting, though, when you talk about the Bengals because, as like any team, as the quarterback goes, so they go, right? Yes. But the division's just different this year.
Yes,
they could play just as good as they've played the last 3 years and not be the division winner. That's on the table.
I mean, no, that's 100% true because Baltimore got a whole lot better.
He doesn't think so.
No, I've been on Baltimore for months.
Don't start that. That's not what you said. You didn't think Baltimore was going to be that good this year.
I said Baltimore's going to the Super Bowl.
I'm I'm saying that the Baltimore Ravens are like that team in the NFL.
I agree.
That they are just a wild card because you just do not know what you're going to get out of Lamar Jackson. You add in the OBJ, you get the Davian Clowney on defense, which makes that defense a lot better. You just don't know how they're going to look offensively if Lamar has gotten better throwing the football. If that's the case, then they're going to be dangerous.
I disagree. I think the Ravens aren't a wild card. I think we know they're going to be good. I think the Browns and the Steelers are more wild cards in this division. Like, I have high expectations for the Ravens. I have high expectations for the Bengals, and I think that the Steelers have shown a lot of things in the preseason, albeit the preseason that they're going to be good. But I think when he says that Joe Burrow is dialed in, it's not because they got a month of working together.
Right.
Because Joe Burrow is not Jake Browning, and Joe Burrow is not Trevor Simeon, and that's why he feels so good having Burrow back. We all know he's going to play week.
Yeah, obviously, if you're a wide receiver and you view yourself as the best wide receiver in the game, you better have Joe Burrow throwing you the rock because the other two dudes can't play quarterback that are on their roster right now. But for the record, I have said here, Plax, repeatedly.
Yesterday he did
that I think the Baltimore Ravens are the team to watch this year.
No, he said they're going to beat the Jets and go to the Super Bowl.
I even said Ravens.
He said
I didn't say that.
You just said they're going to the Super Bowl.
They're
in the same conference as the Jets. You said they're going to the Super Bowl.
I said this. You are looking at a Ravens-Jets AFC Championship game is what I said.
I don't believe that at all. I believe that the Ravens are going to be very good.
Yeah.
But they will beat the New York Jets to get to the Super Bowl before the Jets beat them.
Okay.
So
Good.
I'm going Baltimore Ravens.
He had one really bad year with the Jets, and he can't get it out of his system,
I'm
bro.
telling you.
Les was out there popping.
He didn't pop anything.
That's the hole.
I gotta be honest, I've never pop, so
Clearly. You get the hands involved.
not quite sure how you do pop. All right, from there. And we got more on the Bengals coming up a little bit later on in the show. Time for our first weekly over and under segment here on FS1. It's simple, guys. Either you write over or you write under. Okay. Plax, by the way, is the best handwriting of any guest we've ever had in the almost 1 year history of this show. All right, you guys ready to go? No joke. His handwriting.
I'm excited about the handwriting.
It's sexy. It's so good. Yeah, it is.
He's downplaying it.
I get short of breath when I watch him write. It's unbelievable.
That's more pop.
It's like watching Fergie sing the national anthem. I'm like, woo, you go, Plax. All right, in any event, here's your first one. Total quarterbacks that start a game for the Cowboys this season. The over-under is 1.5.
Oh.
Quarterbacks that start for the Cowboys this year. Over-under 1.5. I'll start with Cromartie. Antonio, go. He says under. So you have Dak Prescott going the entire way, yeah?
I got him going the whole way.
Okay. Plax, over-under 1.5.
I beg to differ. I'm going with the over.
Over. Jacoby break the tie. Over. Pop. That's not a knock on Dak Prescott.
It's not,
That's the reality of football, right?
It is. But even if he gets hurt, whatever the case may be, if he misses a game, if he doesn't get off to the start that Jerry Jones and this Mike McCarthy want him to, they're going to put him on the bench. So that's why I say that he won't be the starting quarterback for all 17.
It's funny. We're talking about Dak Prescott, and upstairs they're showing you videos of Trey Lance.
Yeah. I think just to piggyback on what Plax said is they have Super Bowl expectations and aspirations just like a lot of teams. There's only so many teams in the NFC that do. And I could see a scenario in which maybe Dak is injured, maybe he could go, but they kind of like sit him down so he's healthy for the playoffs. I can see
By the way, there are going to be, how many quarterbacks are going to play start all 17 games? Probably less than half.
Of the
for different reasons, whether it's injury, whether it's it's the last week of the season. It's not going to be a lot, right?
I think it'd be probably half.
Yeah,
Half.
So if Cooper Rush plays, that's not necessarily a knock on Dak Prescott. It's the reality of the NFL. Let's go to number 2. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The win total for the Steelers right now, 8.5. Does he keep the streak going? I'll start with Plax on this one. Over or under, sir?
Man, the standard is the standard. So I'm going with the over.
Over.
Mike Tomlin continues his winning season streak. I believe it's going to be, 15 now?
He's never had a losing
He's
season.
never had a losing season, and this year won't be the season either.
So at least 9 wins for the Steelers. Jacoby, what do you got?
First time. He's going under. It's
Going under.
Hey, I thought you was trying to be a better hater. Like,
No, I'm working on my hater skills. But
Yeah.
I'd be realistic about this. They're the worst team in the division. They clearly
not.
are. Yes,
they are not.
He's got the Cleveland Browns,
Keep
the
going,
worst
keep
team in
going,
the division.
Keep going.
worst team in the division. We're all excited about Pickens and Pickett. That was preseason success. Kenny Pickens didn't show me too much last year that made me feel like they're going to be great. To get over 500 last year, do you remember what they had to do at the end of the year? It was miraculous. It was miraculous to get over 500.
Well, before I go to Crow to break the tie, if they do have 9 wins this year, it will be the 17th consecutive season that the Steelers are better than 5, or at least 500 or better.
5, yep.
Now that they play 17 games, of course, you
love
can't be 500. Break the tie, Crow.
Breaking the tie.
Over. There you go.
There you go.
He's going to win. Come on.
Because the standard
The
is the
Mike
standard.
Tomlin will figure it out. I believe they started the season, 3-6 or 3-8 last year. Ended up going 9-8.
Yeah, they were a team nobody wanted any piece of the last month of the season. That's very true. All right, number 3, here we go. Patrick Mahomes will complete over 1.5 behind-the-back passes during this regular season. Okay, behind-the-back passes. Showed it in the summer. Will he complete more or less than 1.5 behind-the-back passes? Jacoby, you get to lead the brigade here. Go.
So the Chiefs play with their food. We've all seen this over the course of the last couple seasons. They're never cover the spread. They always end up winning by one possession, even though they dominate the entire game. They play with their food, and they're going to continue to do so. They're going to work this in. I'm going over 1.5 behind-the-back passes from Mahomes, not out of necessity, not because it's functional, just because they're bored and they like to have fun and do weird stuff.
All right, Crow, what do you got on that? Over-unders 1.5 completed behind-the-back passes. Under.
There's no way that he's going to do that at all.
Do you remember when they got in a circle? Remember when they got in a circle in the huddle and ran in a circle like a merry-go-round last year?
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Bro, you remember the play I'm talking about, right? You remember the play I'm talking
They're going to have a lot
about.
of struggles this year. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You remember the play
They're
I'm talking
gonna have a lot
about?
of
When they got in a
struggles
circle and
this year.
danced
Hokey
through the merry-go-round.
Yeah, they can go hokey pokey, do whatever they want to do, but the behind the back pass is not happening.
It's happening.
Yeah. Break the tie for me here, Plax. Over under 1.5 completed behind-the-back
Mahomes
passes.
is a fan of the show.
Yes.
So
Yep,
he's probably
every day.
watching right now.
Probably.
And just because I'm going to vote with the over, he's going to make
There
me
it
look
is.
good.
There you go.
Let's go, Patty Mahomes. His mama called him Patch. His mama named him Patrick.
Yes.
I'm going to call him Patrick.
Patrick. There you go. By the way, Andy Reid came out yesterday and said that last year he actually ran a play that the janitor suggested to him. So it would not be surprising if he actually has a play in there for behind.
That's actually how it ended up in this show.
Yeah. The janitor got a Super Bowl ring too, by the way. All right, next one. The over-under for total passing yards for Trevor Lawrence this year, and this is directly from Vegas, 4,025.5 yards. Now, don't forget, he did say that he thinks he's capable of throwing for 5,000 yards. I'm back to Crow to start it off. Crow, over-under 4,025.5.
I got over. And
Over.
yards right there.
You have him at 42. Yeah.
1.3 yards.
Hold on, time out. Hang on, I'm with everybody. How do you have 0.3?
I was trying to write 0.5, but I ran too fast. Don't talk now. We know what that means. We know what that education do
I'm
for
changing
you.
my answer after I saw Crows. I'm changing my answer.
All right, Flax, what do you got?
Him, Calvin Ridley, I think they'll do well this year. Travis Etienne out of the backfield. Good group of young wide receivers. But I'm still going to go with the under.
Under.
I'm going to say 3,900, 4,000.
Okay.
He doesn't get the extra 25.
So he doesn't
threw for
get the extra
41 last year.
25.
It didn't have anything.
25.
He
is what
threw
I'm
for
saying.
41 last year.
Under.
Under. And break the tie,
I'm
Jacoby.
just plagiarizing. I'm just plagiarizing his
Yeah.
4,225.3.
Hey,
Exactly.
You're getting better.
He changed the parameters of the bet, but he's got you covered. All right. I got
That's what he wrote too. He wrote 4,225 too.
He wrote under first.
It's like guessing how many marbles are in the jar at the fair. Okay. I'll give you one more here before we take a break. I don't agree with this one. See, this is where sometimes the producers write stuff and they don't tell me about it and they think I'm just going to, good morning, San Diego it. So here you go, Anchorman. The over-under at how many weeks this year I give up on the Jets? 9.5. Yeah, I see where this one's going. Our first unanimous answer. Quacks, you're up first. Go ahead.
Over.
I know the answer. Go ahead, Jacoby. Here we go.
10 times.
You know what?
Let me get 17.
I just like this team.
Yes.
I'm trying to be a hater. I'm trying to hate the Jets. I'm trying to hate the Jets. They're just so likable.
Today, man.
Have you seen Quentin Williams? He's so nice. He smiles. He's such a big teddy bear.
You're not being consistent.
Aaron Rodgers doing ayahuasca with his teammates.
Break the tie, Crow.
I'm sorry. I put you at over.
Yeah.
I'm with you, over.
I gotta have some comedy out
And
of
it's going to
this.
start week 1.
No, listen.
Week 1. I give up after they lost week 1 against the Browns in the Hall of Fame game. All right, there you have it. Every week we're going to give you over-unders based on the action of the week before and the games that we're looking forward to upcoming weeks. Don't forget, it all starts Thursday night. Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming up after the break, we have an update on the Rams, which is not good, which will further the thought that they're going to tank the entire season. And Mike Evans wants more money. Where's he going to get it after this?
It is time for First and Football. We start with some bad news from Los Angeles. Cooper Kupp has suffered a setback with his hamstring injury. Craig, my question for you is this. No one expects the Rams to be good, and some people expect the Rams to maybe sort of intentionally be bad. What does this inform you about how they approach the season?
I think there's a chance that Sean McVay steps down before the season starts. This is a guy that almost didn't come back to coach.
9 days?
He almost didn't come back to coach this year, right? He was leaning towards retiring, or maybe even going to TV or whatever it might be. They can't win this year. It's a bad football team, and I'm of the belief now that they've got Caleb Williams in their sights. Matthew Stafford's at the end of his career. Not sure he can even get through 17 games anymore. If McVay was going to leave after last year, which was not a good year for them, and the team's not any better this year, why would anybody think he's going to stick around to see it?
So let me ask you another question based on that information.
Yeah.
Let's just say this is Sean McVay's last year as the head coach. Is this Aaron Donald's last year as an NFL player?
I honestly have to familiarize myself with his contract. But yeah, I think he's at the end of the rope as well. So I would not be surprised if Aaron Donald, again, not knowing his contract top of my head, wraps up after this year. Losing sucks. Yeah. Let's not get that twisted, especially when you're a great player who has won and tasted the fruits of winning, and you're towards the end anyway. Right. Losing wears on you. You guys can speak to that better than I could.
I can't remember an NFL team that won a Super Bowl that declined that quickly.
Sure.
In recent memory. And you just look at everything that has happened with the organization. Cooper Kupp out, OBJ gone, and now Cooper Kupp has a setback with an injury. I want people to understand with a hamstring, there's a difference between a pull, a strain, and a tear.
Right.
So when they said he was getting an MRI on his hamstring, so that led him believe that it's a tear.
Yeah.
And if it's a tear, it can be season-ending injury if he doesn't.
There's another aspect to it. I want to be fair to the Rams about this, because as a fan, I would have signed up for it, so I'm not going to be a Monday morning quarterback on it. You ask any fan out there, maybe other than the Chiefs fan right now in the moment, hey, you're going all in to win a Super Bowl, but you're going to stink for the next 5 or 6 years after that. I think every one of us, especially if you're a Jet fan that's never won, and you're obviously a Cowboy fan, it's been a quarter of a century, who wouldn't sign up for that, right?
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. And piggyback off Plex, you got to understand, it's serious, because now if he tore it and that before, it's a nagging injury the whole entire time. Because now you're not getting back to full strength. And that's honestly, if you tear, it's probably a 6 or 7 week process just for that to get through. Now you got to try to run again. You may still feel a little nag or a little pull if you're not doing everything you're supposed to do.
Think about the team you're coming back to. After rehabbing and coming back, now we're 6-7 weeks into the season. What's the record of the Rams?
Yeah, you coming back week 8, week 9, and you're 2-7.
What's the point?
What are we doing?
Whatever the record is going to be.
He's missed a lot of games in the last 4 years.
You're looking at the possibility of your Cooper Kupp. what are the odds of Caleb Williams staying in the state of California and going right down the street and being the number one?
I think there's better odds that Caleb says, I'll come out of school to go play for the Rams than he will for Arizona.
It's a dog fight between the Cardinals and the Rams. No, we're going to lose. Take the ball. They're going to be fighting for the
Sit down on the one, don't score a touchdown.
They've already made an agreement. They're like, you get one game, we get one game. That's it. They've already made an agreement.
Last place.
Moving on to second down. It is second in football, and this is a small story that has big implications. Mike Evans and the Bucs could not figure out an extension deal for Mike Evans, which leads people to believe that perhaps he will not finish the season on the Bucs. Craig, what teams do you think, were to play out this way, would be in the Mike Evans?
Jets.
I knew you were going to say that.
Jets.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
What about the
Jets?
Chiefs?
Jets.
We always
Listen,
talk about the Chiefs receivers.
The Chiefs, I would say the Chiefs, as I say for most free agents that become available, they have no interest in bringing in top-level talent in the middle of the season. They don't.
What about the Giants?
Yeah, I would say Giants. Why not? Because when I was in this team, we actually had real giants playing the position. I was 6'6", Jeremy was 6'5", Monty was 6'4.5". So we had real giants actually playing the skill position. But Mike Evans, I think it's time for him to go. His time in Tampa Bay is up. 7 or 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He doesn't really have a quarterback that can get him the football.
No, he doesn't.
And if he's chasing another championship, it's not in Tampa Bay. And just like Craig said, but not the green team. Come over to the blue side. You team him up with Hyatt, Darren Waller, and now you got a 6'6" wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about football.
With Saquon Barkley in the back.
Now we're talking about football. Now we're talking championship. Add this man to the roster, and I'm telling you, Brian Daboll, Joe Sheehan, if you're listening, go get Mike Evans, please.
Yeah,
he's the last of the Mohicans. We got all these little guys running around, 5'8", 5'9". He's the last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
He's taller than 6'5". I love him. Let's go, Mike Evans.
Yeah, all right. There's Plaxton is bidding for the Giants.
Yeah, there you go.
Remember this, though. Aaron Rodgers took less money, so the Jets could acquire a contract like Mike's. We've talked about it before. Like a Devontae Adams, if he's unhappy in Vegas. I never once thought that the Giants would be a good location or destination for him.
Absolutely.
But I can't argue it.
Because you don't think about the Giants.
Yeah. and here's why. Right now in the moment, Jets, Giants.
No.
Jets. Giants.
In terms of perception, that's absolutely true. In terms of actual football teams, it's a lot.
Man, I don't know whose side you on today, man. You just keep trying to be a hater.
You're
trying to find a reason to hate the Jets. I don't know what's going on with you.
I'm trying to hate the Jets. It's not working. I cannot do it. I like this football team.
At this stage of our relationship, do you trust me a little bit? Just a little bit? Teeny bit? Little bit. Do you trust me enough to close your eyes just for a second?
Absolutely not. No, I'm not closing my eyes around you. That's not gonna happen.
No, because I was just thinking that this hat might look good on Plaxico Burris.
No, it wouldn't.
There's pictures of him with that hat on now.
Well,
and he looked great in green.
I didn't wear the full hat. I wore the visor.
You want that one?
Oh, you can throw that in the garbage.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that ain't good.
I picked the wrong one. You want that one?
There you go.
Just for the look, Craig. You want to throw that one on? There we go. Look at that.
You know it, man.
New York football. New York football.
That's called Last of the Mohicans.
There we go.
Now we move on to third and football. You mentioned him earlier, Plax, Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt was playing with number 84. He has changed it to 13. It's a bit of an homage to Odell Beckham Jr. Here is what he said about the number change.
You know what he did here. Had a great career here when he was with the Giants. Kind of took over, and I was a fan. When I was young, watching him from high school to college, and now being here. But just with the jersey number, I mean, it was one of those things where, I wanted to start my own legacy with it.
Funny.
There we go.
Plax.
Go ahead.
Let's say he's changed to 17 and said he wanted to start his own legacy with the number. How would you feel? Would that be an homage? Would that be respect? Or would that be a little bit of disrespect?
This is what I don't understand about this story. It was brought to my attention that Jalen Hyatt actually reached out to OBJ and asked him, was it okay to wear the number 13? Why in the hell are you calling OBJ for to ask him if it's okay to wear his number?
You're right.
Or the number 13?
Because the Giants are not retiring OBJ's
That's what I said.
number.
It must be a younger player generation thing because the last time I love OBJ.
Yes.
He's one of the best talents we've ever seen play this game. But to call him and he's 3 teams removed from the Giants, it's not like his jersey's in the rafters.
Never gonna be.
You know, he's won a championship here or anything like that. But why do you call OBJ and ask him, can I wear your number? I don't understand that.
I don't understand.
I'll say this. This is what it is. He already said he's a fan.
Right.
A fan?
He was a fan. He was a fan. Like, a fan gonna ask them to wear your jersey on. They go to your football team, I guess. But I'm like this. Great. Odell had 3 great years over there. Phenomenal rookie year, second year, third year after that. A little. He had injury problems after that, and then he got released. But it's just like we got to think about this. Like at the end of the day, what legacy that's there with the number 13? There's no legacy. If there was a legacy there, it would have been retired.
Yeah, he didn't play long enough for the New York Giants.
And the number 13 is not the number, it's the name, OBJ.
Can I ask you a question? Did you call OBJ and ask if you could wear his number on your chain or no?
Man, I've been wearing this number since I was. Got him? No.
I'm just asking. You wear the number 13.
I wore 13 from the age of 5 all the way to college.
And obviously you were 31.
That's why I was 31.
He didn't ask you that.
You flipped that a little bit. OBJ wasn't even born when I was wearing 13.
We are moving on to
Just do me one favor. Can you guys just put on the screen just for 1 second a picture of Hyatt there again one more time? Because I swear, when I first saw that, not in OBJ's uniform on the field, I thought he was like in a boy band or it was like the remake of Kid and Play. Just the interview you guys just showed, where he's talking about OBJ right there. I thought he was in a boy band right there. Yeah.
I mean, that's the first time I seen a guy with his helmet on. I didn't know who it was. I'm going to keep it real with you.
Yeah, that's Jalen Hyatt, now you know.
Yeah,
you know.
And he's really fast.
Moving on to
just out of curiosity, if he called you up and said, Plax, my dad was a big fan of yours, watching you play. I want to wear 17 because you wore 17.
Right.
Are you good with me wearing it? What would you have said?
I mean, how the hell do you get my number?
All right, Jacoby, go ahead.
moving on to 4th and football. Our favorite new player in the NFL is Deuce Vaughn. He is so lovable, one of the most likable players in the league because, let's be honest, of his small stature. And head coach Mike McCarthy talked about the advantage of his height. Here's Coach.
You know, the thing that jumps out of me is, you know, his running style. I mean, it looks like he's that far off the ground when he goes through the hole and they can't really find him. And he's got great vision and instincts, really high in awareness, and he's a playmaker.
Hey, see, Timmy, you're not alone, buddy. You're not alone.
Let me say this, the defense can't find him.
He is the feel-good story of this summer. And look, the kid had a great college career at Kansas State. So it's not like they just found like a little person walking down the street and said, hey, you want to play football? He's a football player. His dad works for the Cowboys famously now. And it is a great story because he's so little.
Definitely, but he reminds you of Dan Sproles that also went to Kansas State. That got low center regret. Once he can get through the holes and all that stuff. I mean, he's right. I mean, this right here is actually an advantage. You don't get to see him until actually he hits the second level. That's the thing. Like he's behind the big O line. So like when you watch him play during the preseason and the cuts that he made, man, even the cut against Jacksonville when he made the 2 players hit each other. Like that. I mean, that's what you're going to get from him. I mean, he did it in college. He did it, his whole college career. So I love the kid. I love what he brings and what he's going to do, and I think he's going to add a lot to his running back backfield.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of him. Third down type stuff. Definitely. He's going to be a weapon that they're going to use, and then every little person out there is going to go, I can make it to the NFL. Yeah.
Man, I just can imagine this guy, out on the edge on space, in space, defensive backs trying to tackle this little man one-on-one and getting him behind all those big offensive linemen in the screen game.
Yeah, it's like if Muggsy Bogues was playing NFL football. It's that type of thing. Yeah. In comparison to the size of everybody else. A little Dave Meggett in him, too, going back 25 years in the NFL. All right, coming up, we got your mid-show headlines, and that includes Zach Taylor talking about Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers living the dream we never thought we'd hear him live right here in New York. Yes.
Welcome back to the Carton Show. We have your headlines. Guess what? Aaron Rodgers is enjoying his time in New York and New Jersey, and here is what he had to say. The latest from Aaron Rodgers is that he is living the dream.
Aren't we all?
Here's what AR8 had to say, and I quote, "This is my life now. How cool is this? I am living a dream."
There's a little braggadocio in there I don't like. You know, like when you're dating a billionaire's daughter and, you know,
he was, actually.
Yeah, I know. Mallory Eames. Yeah, owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, life is great if you're Aaron Rodgers. I respect that part of it, of course. But as a Jet fan, it's crazy to hear it. Like, it's one thing for a guy to say, I'm really looking forward to joining my new team and, you know, investing myself in the community and all that kind of stuff. Because it's real. I buy that. A month later, when you're talking about how this is like you're reborn and you're living in the greatest dream you've ever had and it never ends. Like, I pinched myself this morning. I'm like, he's talking about my squad, bro. The greatest player we've ever had. All due respect to you, gentlemen. Yes, the greatest player we've ever had.
The Jets have ever had.
Yes, and it's not close.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's not even close.
I wouldn't go that far.
At a quarterback position.
He's the greatest player we've ever had, and it's a dream to him, which is what we offered him. We gave him the opportunity to live a dream life.
Really?
Green Bay never did that.
I want to say opportunity. He picked up the phone and called the New York Jets and said, I want to be a member of your team.
Even better.
Therefore, from the organizational standpoint, it makes it easier to get him to come.
And I get part of it is that everyone's kissing his butt wherever he goes, but even that gets old, right? Now it's just like he wakes up in the morning in the beautiful New Jersey atmosphere, and it smells good.
The house is beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very nice house. Very nice.
Yes,
I must say that. Very nice.
Yeah, because New Jersey's a lot more than just Newark. I can tell you that right now.
It is.
All right?
Doesn't this quote sound like something that you say between the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl? Like this seems a little presumptuous to be a preseason quote that he's living the dream.
Well, not a lot of quarterbacks are publicly open about their feelings. Not a lot of men are, right? And for him to share the innermost workings of his deep-rooted feelings and let us know how special we are to him, I love you back, Aaron. It's like, I gotta be honest, I'm living a dream right now as a Jet fan. Because Monday night, September 11th, MetLife Stadium, the New York Jets go 1-0 against the Buffalo Bills, and that is a dream that becomes a reality, my friends.
I get it. I understand all the Kool-Aid and everything tastes sweet right now.
Yes, it does.
But the season is still ahead of us.
Yeah.
So I just cannot wait to see September 11th, them against the Bills. And like I said, I think the Bills are going to take them down on opening.
Man, come on with all that. They can't take them.
I can't wait for September 12th on this program.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
If Plax is not scheduled to be here, we're going to FaceTime him.
We'll
make sure.
We already said what we're going to do.
Oh, yeah, you have to come if the Jets lose. You will be
No,
here. That's
no. If the Jets win, I'll wear Aaron Rodgers jersey.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
And if the Bills win, you'll wear Josh Allen jersey.
I did say that.
All
I did
right.
say
This is
that.
how it works. This is how it works.
Stay on the
show.
If the Jets win,
on the 12th.
Plax is on the show on the 12th.
Yeah.
If the Bills win, for some reason, Plax is not booked on the show on the 12th. I can't imagine why. We know how this is going to go.
Yeah.
We know how this is going to go.
Because there'll be nothing good to talk about. Trust me.
That'll be a very bad day in my life.
Now, we are moving on to our second headline. A team competing in the AFC with the Jets, the Bengals. There's some news. We saw Burrow at practice yesterday. Head coach Zach Taylor said that we're taking it day by day. Well, guess what? Offensive coordinator Brian Callahan said there is a plan in place for him to play week 1.
Yeah, hand the ball off a lot to Joe Mixon. Listen, there's something a little fugazi about this because for 5 weeks you heard nothing about him specifically recuperating from the calf injury. We don't even know the extent of the calf injury. Comes back, couple practices, again, limited camera availability, so we don't really know what they did in the 2 practices this week. I think he's hurt worse than what he was, but I also understand that it's been 5 weeks, and they're certainly going to test him out.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he'll test him out. He's going to get him out on neckies and boots and practice to see how the calf feels and all. So, I mean, he has to go through the game plan anyway. He gets your first 25 scripted plays anyway. So, you got to let him go through it. But also, I think what they're trying to do, they're just trying to manage the whole entire thing until they actually have to announce when they have to announce the starting quarterback. So I think he's ready to go. He's going to play week 1. There's nothing that's going to stop him unless he has another setback.
Well, we'll know on Wednesday when injury reports officially come out for the week, where he is on the injury report, and every team by rule has to put out an injury report.
Just like you said, limited camera work. Just like I was talking about earlier. Playing in Cincinnati, playing in Pittsburgh, it's not a real big media market, so there's not going to be a lot of coverage on this injury. But, going into the season, he had a non-contact injury. And I would like to believe that when opening day gets here, he's going to be running and moving a lot faster than that. So you just don't know how the calf is going to hold up. If it can be non-contact, somebody can hit him, somebody can fall on it.
Right.
So we're going to see how healthy he is right out the gate.
And am I right, Plaxton, saying the only way to find out is to go play? Right?
Go play, and for him to get out of the pocket and really start running like full speed, or take a hit on the leg, or whatever the case may be, then we're going to.
And I'll just say one other thing before you get to the next headline, Jacoby, and that is when we did see the video of the last 2 days of Bengals practice, don't think for a minute it wasn't staged and planned for him not to have a sleeve on that calf. Remember, he had the sleeve on the calf prior to the injury that we all saw. He comes back, the first thing we're all looking for, let's look at his legs, right? No sleeve on. That was by design so that we would all kind of say, oh, he's not wearing a sleeve. He must be okay.
There's also a video of him crossing the street in uniform, and I'm staring at his walk, his gait. Yeah. And it seems like he was trying as hard as he could to make it seem like he wasn't limping, but
where was he going?
It's a limp. It's weird. Their practice facility is like in the middle of an intersection. They have to like wait for the red light to change, then they cross the street in cleats, and then go to their practice facility.
For real?
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird to see like a quarterback going to
in
practice
uniform,
walking across the street
with a helmet on, walking across the street. Moving on to third.
That's crazy.
And football. This is interesting information.
What's this?
The Patriots have 2 quarterbacks on their active roster now.
All right, good
job.
job.
Not only do they have Mac Jones, they have also added Matt Corral.
Who's that?
Of the Panthers, who people are saying may not have the best reputation in terms of quarterback performance. He's been dropped by the Panthers.
Right.
He's been picked up by the Patriots. Now, we spoke yesterday at length about how we give Bill Belichick too much intellectual rope in terms of his decisions. We just trust that everything he does is genius. I don't see the genius in this any more today than I did yesterday.
I can tell you as a fact, this isn't genius. Like, first off, 90% of America, no disrespect to Matt, is it Corral?
Corral.
Never heard of Matt
Golden
Corral.
Just remember Golden Corral.
Whatever. This is desperation time is what this is. This is we need a second quarterback on the squad who's got a pulse. And that's what he did. He found a quarterback with a pulse and signed him. This guy ain't going to play.
I mean, last time I checked, you needed 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
Not in New England.
I mean, if Mac Jones goes down, I guess Matt Corral is going to be the starter.
Yeah, and if, just for to be fair to Bailey Zappi, Bailey Zappi started a couple games for the Patriots last year, and they won 2. Right? So I don't know what he possibly did to be cut, pass through waivers, be brought back on the practice squad, and then have this guy chosen to be the backup ahead of him. Well, I don't get that.
Well, the thing that was supposedly coming out of there is because he couldn't pick up the offense. That was the thing. But
who, Bailey Zappi?
Yes, Bailey
Matt
Zappi
Corral doesn't even know what the offense is.
He was slinging the ball around the yard. They was calling it Zappy hour.
Listen, I said the same thing. I said he played great during the preseason.
I thought
but the thing that was coming out there was he wasn't picking up the offense correctly. He wasn't picking it up fast enough. But I'm like this. You have 2 young quarterbacks and Matt Corral, Matt Jones, and then you got Zappy too. So I think Zappy will be activated to the to the 53-man roster. He'll be the third quarterback. Well, actually, I think he'll end up being the second quarterback with Matt Corral being the third. But what I liked about Matt Corral just playing against him in college is he did everything that Lane Kiffin needed him to do. He was athletic. He can run the ball. He can do certain things. And he had that serious knee injury. So I think from a standpoint of what I saw from him in college, I loved.
You played against Matt Corral in college?
I didn't play against him. I'm saying when I was coaching at Texas A&M.
He was a third-round pick, to be fair. It's not like they got him off the scrap heap. Yeah. He was a third-round pick.
And think about it. They were talking about him being a top 10 pick at one point in time.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
So you got to think about that. So the injury is what really set him back.
So, Craig, let me change this conversation. Because Bill Belichick has made head-scratching move after head-scratching move these last few years. And I think a lot of people understand that he's still in the game, still head coaching because he wants to break the records. With 30 more games, he has to win.
Don Shula's total win record, right?
It feels to me like everything he does is going to make it take longer. Like, doesn't it seem like he's extending this? He's trying to get Don Shula's record, but Matt Corral, Mac Jones?
Yeah, look, listen, Mac Jones at least did make the playoffs his rookie season. He wasn't an incompetent quarterback, and he took a step back last year. We all blame the fact he didn't have good coaching next to him, and he didn't. No. Remember, he went outside the organization to get help, and Belichick went bat bleep crazy on him. It's at the end. Like, all great runs come to an end. Not everybody's fortunate enough to go to another place and have great success, like Pat Riley, let's say, right? Mm-hmm. But all great runs come to an end. The Belichick run in New England is over. This is all desperate stuff. This doesn't make the New England Patriots a better football team.
I think it's more of like a ego issue with Bill Belichick, sending out that message of I can put a team together of not saying nobodies, of replacements, and make them a winning football team. I can take a Matt Corral, a Bailey Zappi, and a Mac Jones, and I can turn them into a Tom Brady, and I can get to win another world championship. I think this is more of an ego issue for him.
Yeah, by the way, I'm with you on that.
You don't understand any of the things that he's doing.
This is a guy that pretends like he never lived in Cleveland, Ohio, and has cut everybody in his life from Cleveland out of his life because that's not the guy he wants to be known as. So he's a total egomaniac, and it's the end of the road. And I'm enjoying every single second of it because they can't lose enough. All due respect to the guys on that team, nothing personal. I hope they go 0-17 when Belichick finally gets kicked out of the NFL by Robert Kraft. I hope it's ugly. I hope it's a level of incompetence we haven't seen since Ray Hanley was in the league and Rich Kotite was in the league. I hope it blows up and burns like the Hindenburg.
And they are one injury to Mac Jones away from it looking really
No.
It's already bad.
Even without an injury to Mac Jones, they're a last-place team in the division.
Yes, they
At
are.
most, they win 6 games this year.
Moving on to fourth and football. A little bit of baseball here. Ronald Acuña Jr. spent his day getting married.
Oh, congratulations.
Now his lovely bride spent his evening hitting a Grand Slam home run, making him the very first player in the history of Major League Baseball to hit 30 home runs and 60 stolen bases. Did so on his wedding day.
Is that a big deal, though?
Yeah, no one's done it before, and they've been playing baseball for quite some time.
I'm just wondering, how big a deal is that?
What, 30 and 60?
Anthony Volpe's the first Yankee rookie to have 20 home runs and 20 steals. Is that a big deal?
I will go back to this. I remember when Sammy Sosa did it. He hit 30 home runs, and he stole 30 bases.
That was the 30-30 club. I remember that.
And that was a big deal.
Yeah.
But now he's doubled the base stealing with the home runs.
Yeah.
It's a very big deal.
Oh, okay. It's a big deal. Great.
You play 162 games, right? People take games off for their birth of their children.
Yeah.
Do you think you can get a night off because you got
60
married?
bases.
You get a night off because you
get
got
on
married?
base, and teams know you're going to steal, and they still can't get you.
I agree with that. Now, the rules of baseball have changed, making it easier to steal bases because for 20 years.
You still have to be fast.
Well, you still have to be fast, yes. But, the pitcher can't throw over more than twice in an inning. The bases are bigger. There's little things that have happened that do make it easier for more stolen bases.
I don't agree with that at all.
You can disagree. You're wrong.
Still have to.
You got to beat the ball to the base.
Right.
You still got to beat the ball to the base. There's no
But the bases are bigger, Crow. The bases are bigger.
Listen.
The bases are bigger.
You still have to beat the ball.
How much bigger are the bases? I'm saying.
Couple inches. It's not even that the bases are bigger.
This kid is like
the pitcher can't throw to first base more than twice.
Oh, God.
I don't believe that. And the catches are probably better these days.
Yeah, in any event, congratulations to Ronald Acuña.
And
hopefully
there you go.
Hopefully your little brother's better.
Look at you.
Yeah.
You're rolling. I'm proud of you. proud of you.
I'm really
man.
maturing
Take the
live in
steps.
front of America. That's exactly what I'm doing. All right, we got much more to do. It's 8:15 Eastern time, and we've not yet talked about Trey Lance. So,
You haven't talked about the Cowboys yet?
I think we have to talk about Trey Lance, maybe taking Dak Prescott's job, or Crow has to get fired. And we bring back everybody's favorite Friday segment of For Real or Fugazi, coming up right after this. That's Antonio Cromartie. That's Plaxico Burress. And that handsome guy in the end, of course, is David Jacoby. Great to have you here. The final Friday before the start of the NFL season. I want to go back to something before we do Mike McCarthy and Trey Lance, all that stuff with Dak Prescott. Cooper Kupp's got a hamstring problem, and apparently he took a step back yesterday. So no guarantee that Cooper Kupp's on the field when the Rams open up the season. But there's another angle to that I can't get out of my mind, so I want to discuss with you guys. And that's Sean McVay. Sean McVay's still not 40 years old. He's got the Super Bowl championship in his back pocket, so he's achieved that. Got married a year ago. That's done. Check that box. And he damn near retired after last year, a losing season. So far this offseason, they're going to lose Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford's wife comes out and says that Matt can't connect with the younger players. And there's really, to be fair, not a lot of talent there. Why is Sean McVay going to stay and watch this thing implode under his watch? I don't think he does.
It's interesting because there's been a lot of media rumors about him, that he's been in discussions and he's got a podcast and he's got a big personality and he would do well here. I could see a world in which, whether it's before this season, unlikely, but after this season, takes a couple years off. It's so much easier being in the media than it is being an NFL head coach. I could see a world in which this is the end of his Rams run after this season, does a few years with the media, and then re-signs with another team.
Yeah, and I thought that after last year because he was being wooed allegedly by a number of networks, I'm sure ours included, and he decided to come back, and that's only 6 months ago when there was some debate if he was coming back. Now, look, you have what could be the golden ticket if the kid from USC, Caleb Williams, is the real deal. We just don't know right now, right? But if you told me that we wake up on Monday morning and Sean McVay says, I'm so sorry, Rams Nation, I've had a change of heart, I can't do it, and steps down, would you be shocked by that?
So you going to pull the Nick Saban?
Bing.
What's the other guy was in Atlanta?
I forget his name.
He's a Petrino. Matter of fact, he's at Texas A&M.
Go ahead.
All right. So you gonna pull that? I don't see him doing it, but I think for him to even be thinking about retiring, I think this season may be the last year. I don't think he wants to be in a, as they would call it, rebuild year.
Yeah. Well, they're rebuilding.
And I think that's what the problem is, really. I don't think he wanted to be a part of a team that he had to rebuild. That he wanted to go ahead and have teams that was ready to go.
Well, look, there's proof of that also. You know, they went to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, didn't win the Super Bowl, and immediately did what? Let me find a better quarterback, right? And got Matthew Stafford and won the Super Bowl. The more I think about it, it's kind of under the radar because they are the Rams right now. And, you know, the Jets have Aaron Rodgers. And, oh, my God, Trey Lance went to Dallas. I would not be shocked if Sean McVay is not coaching the Rams early this season.
I would be shocked. I mean, just the single point of, from a respect standpoint.
Yes.
You know, from his players, the guys that's been on the roster for the last 5 or 6 years, the Aaron Donalds, the Cooper Kupps, all of those guys, to basically walk out of the door,
right,
looking ahead, knowing that your team is not going to be able to compete in the division or make the playoffs. I think it's a coward way out to do it. To be like, we're not going to be very good, so I'm not going to coach. So I think just from that point of view, I would be shocked if he steps down.
So let me ask you this. Is there reputational harm if he does that?
100%.
Because you don't want those players that, you know, you groomed and you formed this, you know, this brotherhood with along the way to help you get to the Sean McVay, to help you to be that world championship coach. And now the team is not what it was 4 or 5 years ago, and you just walk out of the door because you're not going to be very good. That's the reason why I think he coaches this year.
If he makes it through this season, and I will not be shocked if he doesn't, then I think you hang around to see if you get the kid from USC, Caleb Williams, because that represents the hope of having a stud quarterback.
But that's not enough. You need a football team.
Yeah.
You need guys around Caleb Williams to help him. Is he even going to be an elite NFL quarterback? We don't even know that. So moving forward for Sean McVay, I don't think Caleb Williams, if he finishes in dead last place to get that draft pick, I don't think that's enough to keep him around.
All right, we'll keep an eye on what goes on with the Rams. They're not going to be a good team. How long does Sean McVay last there? All right, from there, let's go to Mike McCarthy. He's finally got a couple days of Trey Lance, who, not so surprisingly, is wearing Patty Mahomes' number 15 and kind of looks like Patrick Mahomes a little bit in that red jersey. He's got the hair kind of similar right there. Mike McCarthy talked to reporters about what he has seen so far from Trey Lance. By the way, his third-string quarterback, not his starter, not his backup, his emergency quarterback. Go right ahead.
He's doing all the little things you need to do. So, the classroom part of his first impression has been excellent. But it's just like anything. It's everybody does it a little differently from the quarterback position, and that's no different for us. Compared to his past experience, and we'll just continue to work on the extra things, particularly in the area of footwork.
And here's why it's a goose under the rear end of Dak Prescott. All right. They're goose and Dak is what they're doing. I explained to you on Monday where it's from. Don't make me do that again.
Never explained. You never explained.
What the goose under the rear end expression
It's a prison thing. Sorry, Bikes. I'm with you now. We're together in that. All right, my bad. All right.
I don't even know why I did that. As he said,
it was just natural.
I'll take that.
Sorry, man. All right, here's the deal. Name another head coach a week before the season begins who's being asked questions about his third-string quarterback.
I'll say this. They're going to ask questions. For one, you got a fourth round. This kid was a third overall pick in the draft.
Yes.
They gave up 3 first rounds in the third round. So him being traded to Dallas, what is it doing for Dallas? It's bringing in what? More what?
Attention.
There you go. Mm-hmm. That's all it's doing. And think about it. Of course he's going to say, he's doing everything, the little things right. That's what you want from a guy that comes into it, that's trying to learn the system to do what he's supposed to do. And I think the biggest thing is it's not a point. It's a distraction from talking about Dak. That's what I feel. So it's a distraction.
But it goes right back to Dak.
It really doesn't, because it's not. He's not in no foul play, no harm to what Dak can do. Cooper Rush is the number 2 quarterback. Right. That's it. He's in a true development side quarterback right now, being your third-string quarterback.
Go ahead, Plax.
I'm just listening to Mike McCarthy, and I'm taking myself out of this seat for a second and just, put myself in Trey Lance's mind and his shoes. And I'm just like, you're walking into an organization and you know Dak Prescott is the starting quarterback. Everybody and the whole entire NFL community and world is telling you how bad you are and what you aren't as a player. And you walk into a new organization, everybody knows that you're bad. They're telling you like your worst pick ever. And Crow can attest to this. When you go to a new team, the number one thing that you want to do out of the gate is earn the respect of your teammates. And the only way that you can do that is to do the things that Mark McCarthy's talking about. Well, he's listening. He's being receptive to information. He's a joy to be around. But now he has to put it out on a football field for his teammates to respect.
Right.
And I think that's where he's at mentally right now going into that organization.
Yeah, it's just crazy that the third-string quarterback is a story. That's only in Dallas. Maybe New England, based on the nonsense with cutting the 2 quarterbacks not named Mac Jones. But I can't remember another time that here we are a week before the season when we give a rat's rear end about the third.
But think about this. This is another thing that Mike McCarthy is doing right now. He's building his confidence.
Okay.
As a quarterback, you want to try to build his confidence as much as possible. So, yes, we talk about him in a way that he's doing the little things right. He's a joy to be around. He's trying to gain the respect of his guys for being in the locker room. But at the same time, as a coaching staff and as players, our job is, we got a new guy on the team, but let's try to build his confidence. Let's try to get him where we need him to be, confidence-wise, to be the best player he can be when that time comes.
One thing that I find interesting about this is the press asked Mike McCarthy, how's he doing? And Mike McCarthy's the head coach. He builds his confidence and says he's doing great. He's doing the right things. He's learning. He's a sponge. My question is, when Jerry Jones calls Mike McCarthy, because I feel like Jerry Jones loves his new toy that he just got for a 4th-round pick. I feel like Jerry Jones is like, he looks good. He looks good, right?
Yeah.
He looks good out there, huh? Maybe we could put something together
Remember,
for
a
him?
month ago, Jerry Jones came out and said Cooper Rush looked fantastic at practice on a day that Dak threw 3 interceptions. So we're going to follow that very, very closely. Listen, it is Friday, all right? And that means a little something we like to call a for real or Fugazi. All right, we'll give you something cooking in the world of sports. You guys determine if it's real or if it's Fugazi, okay? Ready to go, Crow? You
Let's go, baby.
All right, here's a random statement. I didn't make it up. Someone else did.
Of course they did.
The New York Jets will be under 500 after 7 games played this season. Antonio, is that for real or Fugazi?
Fugazi.
Yes. That's what I'm talking
Fugazi.
about.
They will be over 500 after 7 games.
Yes. First 6 games
you
are
got a
tough.
smile and smirk about?
Go ahead, Plax. What do you got?
You see, they turned off the cameras when you said that. They went to black. That means it's real.
Those are your first 7 games.
My first 7 games right there, I gotta say for real.
For
They
real.
will be 3-4. So that puts them under 500 for the first 7 games.
Your math is accurate.
3 and
there, yes.
4.
Yeah, they've got 3 road games,
what?
4 games at home.
They beat New England. Mm-hmm. They beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
And
You guys want to
they
put that back up real
somehow
quick?
figure out how to beat the Cowboys.
All right, and so you have them losing to Buffalo, losing to
We're not
Kansas
losing to
City,
New York neither.
losing to Philly, and losing to Big Blue.
Absolutely. 3 and 4.
So we're going to lose to Denver, too?
No, he gave
No.
me Denver's a win.
No, he gave us Bills.
Oh, my bad.
In New England.
Go ahead.
2 and 5.
What? I thought you were going the other way.
All right, Jacoby, you want to get on that real quick?
I'm a Jet guy now, Fugazi.
Yes, he's on.
Yes, he's on the bandwagon.
All right, look,
Love it.
I think worst case scenario, the Jets are 6-1 after 7. But that's worst case. All right, number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs will win their 8th consecutive AFC West title. Plax, we start with you.
Gotta say for real.
For real.
They're the best team in the NFL, and they're definitely the best team in the AFC West.
All right, Jacobs.
I'm going Fugazi. I have the Chargers. I think that the Chiefs, they play with their food too much. They're in too many close games they eke out at the end. I think they're playing with fire. I think that they will do well in the playoffs, but they do not win the division.
I call that Fugazi. My Chargers will win the AFC West.
That's right.
My Chargers will win.
How many teams you got, man? When we talk about the
I was
Jets,
drafted by I was drafted first round by the Chargers.
We talk about the Jets, you say our, and then when we go to the Chargers, you say my team. You got to make your mind up.
I played 4 and 5.
Okay.
I played 4 years in San Diego. Well, not the LA Chargers.
I understand.
And played 5 in New York. So yes, they are both my team.
Let me go to the next one here. Going down to Tampa. Baker Mayfield will throw more interceptions and touchdowns this year. Jacoby, for real or Fugazi? It's real. Just say it. It's real.
I don't want to, but I have to say for real. I like Baker Mayfield. I believe in Baker Mayfield.
But if you ask me to really answer that question, I'm going to say for real.
Yeah, that does not make you a hater. I know you're trying to
I
avoid
am
the
a hater
hate.
for other reasons, but
Yes.
for this one, no.
Crow, what do you think about Baker down in Tampa with Todd Bowles as his coach? Go ahead.
I think it's Fugazi.
You think he has more touchdowns
I think
than
he has
picks?
more touchdowns than interceptions. I mean, he can't go worse than 30 for 30.
Why do you think Mike Evans wants to be traded?
He never actually never actually traded.
All right, Plax.
I got to say for real because I believe that Baker Mayfield will be on the bench after the first month of the season.
Kyle Trask will be the starter.
Kyle Trask will be starting.
Let me go to another one real quick here. Amongst the top teams in the NFL, teams with actual playoff hopes, Tua is the worst quarterback amongst those teams. For real or Fugazi?
Fugazi.
Fugazi.
Hey, put some respect on my guy's name. He is not one of the worst quarterbacks with playoff hopes. He is not.
Okay. How about you, Crow?
Fugazi.
Fugazi.
Yes, man. Yes. And when he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks that was playing at the point in time.
Yeah.
But it's the point of him staying healthy. If he can
Yes.
stay healthy, Dolphins can be a team that's really
Pretty good.
dangerous.
Well, here's
Craig,
your
they
chance
don't
to
want-
hate.
They don't
Go
want to say
ahead.
anything negative about Tua.
Right.
And I understand that.
Why-
Now,
why?
this is how you define playoff hopes is really how you answer this question. And I would say the Steelers are a team with playoff hopes, and I would take Tua over Pickett any day of the week.
Yeah, you guys have been sold some bill of goods on Tua. Great guy. Root for him not to have concussions this year, but he is not a very good quarterback.
I think the Miami Dolphins have a good team this year.
That's right.
It just happens to be in the AFC East with the Buffalo Bills and the Jets this year.
Right.
And they're going to be the third.
They could be a really good team and come in third place.
Yeah.
That's for real.
Yeah,
and to be fair, Chet Phantom aside, any one of those teams could come in third place.
100%.
Because they are very, very good. Same in the AFC North. All right, give me another one here. Brandon Staley, your Chargers, okay, is the first coach to get fired this season. For real or Fugazi?
For real.
There you go.
Don't wait. Listen, if you lose in the playoffs again, listen.
You just said that they're going to win the division.
Listen.
How you going to fire the coach?
Plax makes a good point. Plax makes a good point.
How you going to fire the coach if you win the division?
Because they was going to fire him last year after they made the thing on playoffs. So it didn't matter.
Well, he's still there.
He is.
How's he going to get fired and they win the division at the same time? Answer that question.
Because I don't think the Chargers want to do, they want to continue in the playoffs, right? I can win the AFC West and still get fired if I lose in the playoffs.
If they lose in the playoffs, they say it's his first coach to be fired. So no other coach gets fired the entire season?
He's on the hot seat. I'm telling you right now. I know everyone thinks McCarthy is here.
He's on the true hot seat.
He is.
He's on the for real hot seat.
There's some other coaches that are seat that's hotter than his.
No. His seat is hot.
They cooked the goose under his rear end.
Don't mess with the goose. I'm telling you. That's
I gotta say Fugazi. I believe they're going to be a better football team than last year. So I believe that Brandon Staley stays.
Survives.
Yeah, I believe he does.
Well, look, if they have a great season, get off to a good start, and they have Kellen Moore calling the plays now, and they're loaded at wide receiver, and Herbert's got the money. The expectation, of course, is that they do have a very, very good season, and they got to win a playoff game before he gets any kind of job security.
I was part of a team that went 14-2, and they fired the coach.
Who was that?
Marty Schottenheimer.
14-2. There you go. It happens from time to time. Who stabbed him in the back?
I'm not going to say.
Norv?
No.
Norv Turner?
No.
Right in the back?
You're not gonna say it?
Shiv in the back?
We got time. Wait.
Someone stabbed him in the back.
General manager.
Got it. There you go. I have one more before we skedaddle for the break. Porta potty waiting areas are actually also decent boxing rings. This is at the Morgan Wallen concert a couple days ago. And these gals, were fighting over the porta potty.
Nice.
I can tell you, not a good place to get in a fight, ladies.
That is for real. Because
Look at the advantage.
I like it.
Yeah.
You see the advantage she got?
Here she comes.
I think we just invented a new sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look at the boots. Look at the boots.
She's just punching, kicking random people. I don't think she was involved at the start of this.
For real? For
For real? Because guess what? Things can get nasty real quick.
All right, coming up after the break, it is First in Football, and a lot of people are very high right now on the Jacksonville Jaguars, but are they a sleeper to make the run to Vegas the second Sunday in February? The guys will answer that right after this. All right, welcome back. It's time for First in Football. We have some breaking news regarding Mike Evans and Tampa. Mike Evans' agent has put out a statement regarding his contract situation. We are giving the Bucs until the start of the regular season to make him a Buccaneer for life. Mike wants the next phase of his career to be with an organization who wants him and wants him to help win a Super Bowl. That's pretty much what everyone's going to want.
He has Super Bowl, right?
He has a Super Bowl ring on his finger. That is right.
I'm confused why the agent is talking anyway.
Because they're trying to put pressure on the team.
He's saying all the right things.
He's saying all the right
and
things.
basically saying that Mike wants to remain in Tampa. But if I'm a smart guy, which I am, I think that Mike Evans wants to leave Tampa and go somewhere else.
Yeah, because he knows he can't win.
Because
he's
looking at this quarterback situation. He's like, there's no my streak of 1,000 yards is going to break this year because I don't have.
Not just that, he's seen both ends of it, right? You go from Jameis Winston, who I think is the only guy in the 40-40 club, by the way,
30-30.
which is picks and interceptions, touchdowns in the same year, but you get the point. He went from Winston to Tom Brady, won a Super Bowl, went to the playoffs again the following year, and now he's looking at Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. You're a most likely a first ballot Hall of Fame wide receiver, and you're at the end of your career, you want another chance to compete. That's all that is.
Definitely. You definitely want another chance to compete. But at the end of the day, it don't do nobody no good trying to negotiate through the media.
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
But here's my question. If he gets a good offer from the Bucs, is he even happy about that? I think that Mike Evans would prefer to get traded and start with another team.
And I think about this earlier. The possibility that he could get traded in Week 8.
It's on the table.
It's on the table. So, I mean, all that is on the table. I mean, it's just a point of, like, you're not going to make the playoffs. You're not going to do anything with this team. And I understand where Mike is coming from. I just wish the agent just shut the hell up and not be in the media talking. And if you want to get a trade done. If you want to get your contract done, get it done.
By the way, he's in the last year of a 5-year, $82.5 million contract. He's making $13 million this year. He's a cap hit of $24 million. So he did get a big contract.
And there's also a great possibility that he won't go anywhere. He'll play this year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers will franchise him after this year.
Absolutely on the table. Yes, that's on the table. I mean, it's more likely that at some point, Tampa Bay ownership takes stock of, we did kind of what the Rams did, right? We got our title, and now we got to rebuild the whole damn thing and find some talent.
But they don't have to do what Mike Evans wants.
No, they do what they want. Right. And by the way, they can let Mike Evans walk.
That's the thing about this.
They can franchise him. They can trade him. It's on them.
Right.
Now, Mike Evans has a great, what's what I'm looking for? He's very well respected amongst the guys in the league. He's not a bad guy. He's not a malcontent. He's not going to be a bad dude in the locker room. He is a very well respected guy.
100% well respected. I mean, that's anywhere he goes. I mean, he walks around at Texas A&M when he comes up there. It's well respected. So for him, it's just he wants to be compensated for what he's done. I mean, he has over 10,000 yards in 9 years. I mean, he'll probably talk about another 1,000-yard season. I think he's going over 1,000 yards for the first 9 years of his career. He's probably going to go over 1,000 yards again, and he's missed games. That's the crazy part. He's missed games and still has over 10,000 some yards in 9 years. So
no one else has ever done that at the wide receiver position. And by the way, just so you know, from a franchise tag situation, this year it was $19 million if you franchise the wide receiver. So next year, about $20 million for 1 year.
I don't see him doing that.
No, at some point he's going to go to them and say, trade me, because we're not going to be a good football team.
I think he made a good comparison with the Rams. The Rams went to the Super Bowl, couldn't get it done. Bring in a veteran quarterback, go all in, sell out, get your championship, and then you realize that when you sell out for that championship, you're going to have to tear it down.
And by the way, 90% of the fan bases from coast to coast would say yes to that. Give me the Super Bowl, and I will accept another 5 years or 10 years, or in my case, 54 years of not winning another one.
He's making $13 million this year. The franchise tag is $19 million, so why would you take less than 20?
Right, I'm with you on that. All right, let me go to a second of football here. There's a new sheriff in town, and his name is T.J. Hockenson. He has now got the highest guaranteed contract of any tight end in the history of the NFL. 4 years, $66 million extension. It can go to 68.5 with incentives, and 42.5 totally guaranteed. After going from Detroit to Minnesota, he now has the best contract any tight end has ever gotten. Meaning, right now, there's a guy who's 34 years old who's got 2 years left on his deal in Kansas City going, his name is Travis Kelce.
They have a pretty good tight end in Baltimore Ravens, too.
Mark Andrews, that's right.
They do.
So when you think of the best 5 tight ends in football, maybe you think Hockenson as 5th? Maybe. Yeah. And that's a debatable thing. Yeah. So congrats to him. Yeah. Good job by his agent. Yeah. But now Kittle and Kelce specifically, Waller can't make a claim for it because he's been hurt. If he's healthy and has the year that he's expected to, maybe he can after that. But those guys got to be saying, hello.
Oh, they're happy. They are so happy right now. This is great news for them. This is great news
I think so, too.
And this also tells you why the Lions traded Hockenson. It was very odd. It's like they traded him within the division to the Vikings. He kind of head scratching. And now when this news comes out, you're like, oh, now I know exactly why the Lions traded him. We
didn't want to drop $50 million on a tight end. Right? Although when you look back on it now, maybe they should have. because they're a good football team too. But congratulations to TJ Hockenson, third in football. Head coach, you talk about a head coach that might be on the hot seat, Plax, Kevin Stefanski. You got Deshaun Watson now, and it's on. No more rust, no more. We hope he's good. Right. He's the franchise. You have a great defense. You've got really good wide receivers. You've got a top 5 running back in Nick Chubb. You got to win now. You got to make the playoffs now. You can't be the doormat of the AFC. And he talked about how Deshaun Watson's leadership is going to make it all possible.
Deshaun, that's very, very natural for him to lead. And I think he's comfortable leading from out in front. I think he's comfortable from leading and letting his teammates get credit. And that's just something that he's always done his whole life. And just the way he's integrated himself into this football team is impressive to watch.
You know, it's funny. A lot of people forget what the book was on Deshaun Watson, the person, prior to all the nonsense with the masseuses, right? And I'll tell you what it was. Greatest guy in the world. Right. Team guy, community guy, charity guy, leadership type guy, hardworking guy. Like all the stuff we say about Jalen Hurts, that was Deshaun Watson. And then, of course, it all got blown up because of the stuff well off the field. I'm not surprised by that. That's who this kid's always been.
Unfortunately, Kevin Stefanski, his seat is hot.
Yep.
But it's unfair because this is really going to be Deshaun Watson's first full year of starting quarterback over the last 4 or 5 seasons. But you have a Nick Chubb, you have a Myles Garrett, you have one of the best offensive lines in football, and Nick Chubb and all those guys. But then again, he's playing in the AFC North.
Very
if
tough.
he comes in last place in the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns can still be a good football team, but the conference is so competitive.
That's a fair point.
They may end up in 3rd or 4th, and he may get fired, and he has a pretty good football team.
Yeah, like you could go 10-7 and be in last place in that division. And that you couldn't defy, it's a bad season. That'd be a good season with a bad result.
Right.
But he is on the hot seat, or pardon me, hot seat. Hot seat, Red Crow.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like you say about Deshaun Watson, man, I love the kid. I love the way he is. I love the way his work ethic was. I love the way that now, like you say, all the rust is off. Everything is off. He has the weapons around him from the running back. Also having with Amari Cooper and all those guys around at the offensive side. And on the defense side, you got Myles Garrett. And you got, what's the DB, Denzel Ward. At the DB position. So I mean, you have the pieces, you have a good team, and like you say, like this team can actually go 10-7, be in last place in the AFC North.
And by the way, for those of you that don't know him, because he's not a household name, don't sleep on Elijah Moore having a good year with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, being the secondary choice at wide receiver. He had a good start with the New York Jets. It just didn't work out, but he's a very talented wide receiver. And 4th in football for you right now, Doug Peterson, head coach, of course, of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the guy that actually cut his own son from the Jaguar roster.
Oh, bloody.
Thank you, Rick. Doug Peterson was asked about the chances his team has to compete for the big trophy at the end of the year. Here's Coach Peterson.
We'll find out. Listen, it's a long season. Obviously, we know we got the quarterback. We feel like we got the skill, around him. And the pieces are there, obviously. But it's a long season, and injury plays a part of this game.
Remember, they were the tale of 2 seasons last year, right? Started off 2-6, ended 7-2, and next thing you know, they're in the playoffs, and they're winning a playoff game and going to the second round. So he's right. They've got the pieces in place. They had Calvin Ridley, but he still cut his own son.
Yeah, they say family over football.
I think the story is that he had his son join camp, not that he cut him.
But find a place for the kid on the practice squad.
Hey, you're the son, your dad's calling, you pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Dad, what's going on?" He said, "Well, it's not a good day." The last thing you think that's possible that your dad.
Here's the real question. The cut-down day, of course, was Tuesday, right? Do you think he had him over for dinner and said, "Look, I'm not going to have the Turk come and get you, bring you to my office.
Right.
I'm just going to tell you over like steak and potatoes, you're getting cut tomorrow." You know that.
No, man, I'm treating them just like everybody else. I'm sending the Grand Reaper to go get the playbook.
But listen, when your dad pick up the phone and call, you think it's supposed to be a father type conversation.
The dad
I gotta let you go, son.
The dad ain't calling. They're gonna send somebody down, and they gonna come get you out of the locker room.
Hey, I think he has enough respect for his son to say, "You know what? to the organization, let me talk to him first.
No, come on, man.
He told him when he invited him to camp, he said, you can come to camp, but you're not going to make the team. That was understood the second.
I hope so, but you're cold-blooded, right?
You treat him the same.
You're like,
no special treatment.
You have the intern go down and go, Peterson, coach and GM need to see you.
Yeah.
Bring your playbook and your laptop.
So, come on, man. So if your dad calls you the next day, do you answer the phone?
No.
Hey, son, how you doing? No. What?
It's a business. We all know that.
Man.
You coming over for dinner tonight?
No. tell mom I said hi.
Exactly. All right, coming up, we got your late show headlines. They include an update on Joe Burrow from Zach Taylor and an update on just how happy New Jersey makes Aaron Rodgers. It's something I never thought I would hear, but it's real. And I read it, and I love it.
Welcome back to the Carton Show, where every morning you get your big headlines, and we start with Aaron Rodgers talking about his time in New York. He said, quote, I told a friend, this has been like waking up inside of a dream. This whole experience, a beautiful dream. I've woken up inside of that dream. I've been really, really special. There's a lot of times, I've said it before and I'll say it again, where I just look around and I say, this is my life now. How cool is this?
Yeah, it's very, very cool. He's got a great life, obviously, right? Dating a billionaire, starting quarterback of the New York Jets. Everyone's falling all over him. He hasn't done anything wrong, hasn't gotten hurt. He's been perfect.
Undefeated.
You know, Hard Knocks made him look like the Zen quarterback of all time. Life is good. And then next Monday night, when the Bills try to hurt him, we'll see how good life is. My fingers are crossed. That is phenomenal and great. But if you told me, look, I lived through Brett Favre coming to New York, and it was a one-year experiment. And the reality is that Brett Favre, I think he would tell you this right now, he never wanted to be a Jet. He just wanted out of Green Bay, and that's why a year later he went to Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers chose the Jets. He wanted to be on the Jets, much like Tom Brady wanted to go to Tampa, because they recognized I can win there. Really good defenses, top 5 defense, legitimate weapons, add Dalvin Cook to the mix there as well. And I could just go be me and have a lot of great success. So I never in my lifetime would have thought that the New York Jets could have pulled this off. They pulled it off. He has disproved the dopey narrative about how bad a guy he was and how he doesn't work with the younger guys and he's aloof and all that nonsense. It has been picture perfect since he got here. And I love hearing on his end how much he loves being here.
I just don't know. Who's the friend he was talking to? He was talking to you?
He was talking to me. That's right.
This is why we keep reporting on this, because you're the friend that he was talking to.
Right.
But when he made his decision to come to the New York Jets, I'm pretty sure that he looked at all 32 teams, or the teams that had the pieces for him to be inserted into that team and to compete and win a championship. And if you look at the New York Jets, the first thing that jumped off the page was that, you know what? They have a championship defense.
Yes.
Right now. And then if I can get some of my guys, you had Garrett Wilson, who's going to be a great receiver moving forward. You add in Al Lazard, you add in Randall Cobb. So now he has an offense that he can depend on to go out and make plays and win football games.
Look, there are only 2 other teams that I know as a fact reached out to see if they could make the trade to get him. It was the New England Patriots, and Aaron said no to that right out of the gate. And it was the San Francisco 49ers, and that came directly from John Lynch. So the New York Jets have all the pieces. San Fran might even be better, to be fair, but New York had all the pieces.
Wow.
And what we learned about Aaron after the fact is that, you know, he used to spend, apparently, a lot of time in New York in the offseason. Loves the city, loves the vibe of it, and he has just been money good since the Jets got him.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, like you said, it's new place. He's not in Wisconsin no more.
Right.
That's the thing. I'm not just eating cheese around in Wisconsin. I got plenty of places to come around and go eat. But I think what he is, he's enjoying, he's revived. He's around the guys like Nathaniel Hackett and all these guys that he's had in Green Bay. And I think that brings excitement to him. And he, like you said, he looked and saw the rosters. Like, this is a place I want to be. Yep. I'm in a big city. I can go out and go help this team get into the playoffs, and we'll have possibility of making it around to the Super Bowl.
I'm a little concerned about Nathaniel Hackett because of the final episode of Hard Knocks this past week. I'll tell you why. And I'm thrilled that he's here because he had great success with Aaron, obviously in Green Bay. but he told the offensive unit during Hard Knocks that Goldmember is his favorite Austin Powers movie.
The favorite movie.
And he told the guys as they left the room to have a golden day.
It's not the red zone, it's the gold zone. It's the gold zone.
It's a little creepy for me.
It's the gold zone.
A little creepy, that's all.
So one thing that Coach Saleh said a couple days ago is that they're gonna face adversity. And we've talked about their first 6 games over and over and over. One thing I love about Aaron Rodgers in this position, if we've seen what he's done those years with the Packers. Remember the run the table year? Like he brings a confidence through adversity. Things are going to be bad. They're not going 6-0. Don't listen to Craig. It's going to be tough in the
Well, it's the relaxed year that's the one you really want to point to when they lose a couple games, everyone's going, oh my God, we're done. And he's really quelled the uprising at the gates by Packer fans by going, relax, we're going to be fine.
And you're gonna see that energy again with some. It's gonna help some of the younger players on the team. It's gonna help this young coach as well.
And I think that's one of the main reasons why I think they need to get off to a good start.
Agreed.
Because if they go 1-2 or 1-3, now you start pressing. Then all the questions start coming in. And then as a quarterback, as Aaron Rodgers, you come up with all these expectations to be this world championship quarterback right out of the gate. Then you start forcing passes. Mistakes start happening. Bad decision making, different things like that. So that's why I say they have to get off to like 3-1 or 4-0 out of the gate.
Yeah, I think that's the best point we've made all day. The New York Jets, obviously every game matters, all that kind of stuff. But because of the expectation, because the fan base is crazier than it's been for preseason in my lifetime, the New York Jets cannot get out to a 1-3 start. Doesn't mean they wouldn't turn it around and have a playoff season. But more than any other team I can think of, they have to get out of the gate with a W. And a few of them.
Yeah.
I can't reveal everything I talked to Robert Saleh about when we golfed, but he recognizes the first 6 are tough. All right? And part of that is, if you can get out of those first 6 games 500 or better, you're a real problem for the rest of the league. Absolutely. And I kind of think that's what they're looking at.
Absolutely.
Second headline we have comes from Cincinnati. We saw Joe Burrow on the practice field yesterday, and we heard from Zach Taylor. He said that Joe Burrow is day-to-day. However, I don't think Zach Taylor likes this part. The offensive coordinator said that they have a plan in place for him to play week 1. They've been silent about Joe Burrow's availability up until yesterday. I think that the OC messed up when he said there's a good chance he plays week 1.
Yeah, I see the video you're talking about there where it looks like he's limping, right? Walking across the street to practice. Look, if they don't have Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati Bengals are done, right? They're not making the playoffs without Joe Burrow. You need one of the best quarterbacks in the league. My concern is this video because it's a limited video. The press is not allowed into the actual practice. The public is no longer allowed into practice as well. And to me, that's a staged video. It is a staged video to show the world that he does not have a calf sleeve on his calf. Look, there ain't nothing wrong with his shoulder, his elbow, his arm.
It don't look like he really putting a whole lot of pressure on that calf either.
See? That's my point. They wanted people to see that and say, he's fine.
I don't see what you guys see.
What do you see?
I'm just saying.
Look at this drop back, and you tell me if that's a real plan.
It's not.
That's a flat-footed drop back right there.
Come on, man. Y'all see this every year. I can pull up other than going practices.
Pull it up.
We can pull up other practices of other quarterbacks doing the exact same thing. They're not firing and going through. It's a tempo. It's a warm-up. They're getting their arms warmed up. They're doing what they're supposed to do before practice. This is before practice technique.
It ain't before practice. You got a helmet on.
Come on. It's before practice. You know that. I'm sorry. It's practice, but it's the part where the media gets to see. That's all it is.
I think it's a ruse.
He's going through his motions of everyday thing.
I have been in situations where I've been
Flex.
And I've been on the injury report.
Flex.
And the coach be like, you know what? Just get out there.
Man, I ain't not.
Just get out there for the camera so they can film.
Yeah, I can go through. I can go through stretch. I can go through a lot of that stuff. But come on, come on, Flex.
And then go back in the locker room.
Y'all looking too much into it. I believe if there was something wrong with this calf, he'll have to.
All right, so let me ask you a question. He was wearing a sleeve before he hurt the calf, but he's not wearing it after?
Okay. Negative.
But what did I say yesterday about his sleeve? I said the injury was probably already before he even.
Oh yeah, that's why he had it on.
That's why he had it on.
That's why he put it on.
Okay, he doesn't have it on. There's no reason for him to have it on now. It's been 5 weeks. He hasn't played. He hasn't done anything.
I'm telling you, here's what I'm telling
you. Treatment for 25 days. That's what he's been doing. Now he's ready to go.
All that was a photo op. That's all that was.
Oh.
They wanted people to see him. You lived it. Plaxis lived it.
He knows better than that.
That was for us to see and digest. Oh, Joe Burrow's good to go. As soon as those cameras were sent out, it was.
Do you think he plays week 1?
Yes, 100%.
I think he plays week 1.
100%.
I don't know.
I think he plays week 1.
So, you know what? I noticed what he was talking about. I seen that man walk across the street.
Yeah.
That was not a
little bit of it.
even
Yeah, he got a little hitch. The giddy up.
First off, you walking on damn concrete with cleats.
What that's their fault?
That's not understandable, but you don't sit there and say, he's walking with a limp. Look at everybody else They're walking with the same damn thing. Come on, man.
If I'm not mistaken.
Y'all gotta stop. You want to make up a story and it's not there.
What I'm saying is,
that's what you're doing. You're making up a story that's not there.
It's not my fault they're walking on concrete with cleats. It's 2023. The Cincinnati Bengals should have an indoor facility. They don't have an indoor facility.
Why are they in the middle of the city?
Why do they have an indoor facility? It's 2023.
They should.
Forget the limp. The most impressive thing, I was like, why are they crossing the street
They
to
don't
get
have
to the
an indoor
facility?
facility.
Yeah, it's bad.
So why are they in the middle of a city?
Because the owner doesn't like spending money on things like that.
Right.
The reality is that we're going to find out in about a week if he's playing week 1. But Plax and I are finally in lockstep together. That was a Fugazi video set up to make us think that Joe Burrow's healthy.
Disagree. All right, staying with the quarterbacks in the AFC, our third headline is this. Guess what? There are now 2 quarterbacks on the active roster for the Patriots. They signed Matt Corral from the Panthers, who was let go. They signed him off of waivers. Everyone is celebrating Bill Belichick for this move, this chess move he made by putting Zappy and Malik on waivers and then keeping them on the practice squad. And I don't see the genius here at all.
Because there isn't.
I don't see it.
Just because Bill Belichick does it doesn't mean it's right or it's a good move or it's genius, right? He don't fart roses, right? And the reality is that he don't have a quarterback. He has a backup quarterback that unfortunately had a major injury a couple years ago, who back in college was thought of as a potential franchise quarterback in the NFL, and has just never really gotten the opportunity to show that he can do it. The New England Patriots are not a good football team. And here's the mistake a lot of people make. We equate Bill Belichick with greatness. First ballot Hall of Fame coach. 6 Super Bowl wins in New England, not to mention the ones with the Giants as defensive coordinator. Took the Browns to the playoffs, for goodness sakes, 25 years ago. But now reality is smacking him in the face. He has no talent on the offensive side of the ball, and that's real. Defense, pretty good. Offense, name the Pro Bowlers.
I mean, just about a month and a half ago, Judon Smith came out and said, we got a bunch of unicorns on defense.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be the case at all playing in this division. So I'm just curious to see how well they're going to be offensively and defensively, because I believe they're going to finish in dead last.
Yep, I'm with you. I think we all agree that they're going to come in last. The question is, are they going to come in an embarrassing last place and go 4-13, or are they going to be a 7-10 last place team? I don't really care, as long as they come in dead last and they're not eligible for the postseason, and people start waking up and recognizing that the long career of Bill Belichick's is coming to a glorious ending out of the playoffs, not in the playoffs.
Fourth headline.
Yeah. Hold on, do you think Bill Belichick would ever pull like a Phil Jackson kind of move or a Pat Riley kind of move? All right, I recognize the cupboard is bare here. We're done. What team's got a lot of talent and has just been mismanaged by a coach? Maybe I can scoot in there and steal a Super Bowl.
I don't think any team right now in the NFL will hire Bill Belichick at this point. I don't think so.
Okay. I don't think so either.
Don't be surprised.
Can I go to the fourth headline?
Don't be surprised. Now you want to show baseball play? Go ahead.
All right. Go to the fourth headline. It's baseball play. Ronald Acuña Jr. He got married in the daytime, and then at nighttime in Los Angeles went deep with a grand slam that made him the very first player in Major League Baseball history to hit 30 home runs and steal 60 bases. Look at the MLB rank right there. First, third, 12th.
To be able to do all 3 in one day is absolutely spectacular.
What do you think?
What was the third one?
What do you think was
What was the third thing? Got married, hit a home run.
Yeah.
Was the third thing, Flex?
Yeah, and he did something nobody has done in Major League Baseball history.
There you go.
I'm trying to think of which was the hardest thing for him to do yesterday.
Yeah.
Which was it?
Of the 3 things he accomplished yesterday.
If you're the wife,
and
you got married that morning, what is the biggest storyline of Ronald Acuña yesterday?
That's a very good question. It ain't getting married.
They're probably breaking the record.
It's not.
Hey,
like, here's the best thing.
He got married that morning now.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he didn't play that to that night.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's not the only home run he hit.
There you go.
He was light on his feet.
Why is Acuña so tired today? Oh, I got you. But I do feel bad for the bride, I guess, a little bit, in that she got married, and he's like, all right, peace out.
I'll be
and
back.
she spent the rest of the day.
I gotta
Go to BP.
All right, what else you got there? Anything, Jacoby? Is that it?
Last headline.
That's it. All right, that means coming up. Do I really want to do another Trey Lance update?
That's what we do?
Of course I do. Boy, Trey Lance, as Mike McCarthy speaks about the greatest third-string quarterback in Dallas. All right, Mike McCarthy got a look at Trey Lance this week. There he is right there. Looks like Patty Mahomes, just doesn't play like him. And Mike McCarthy spoke about what his first impression is of the embattled young quarterback that was kicked out of San Francisco. Here's Mike McCarthy. Go ahead.
He's doing all the little things you need to do. So, the classroom part of his first impression has been excellent. But it's just like anything. It's everybody does it a little differently from the quarterback position, and that's no different for us. Compared to his past experience, and we'll just continue to work on the extra things, particularly in the area of footwork.
Yeah, so we're 9 days away from the Giants playing the Cowboys Sunday Night Football to start the season off, and the head coach on the hot seat of the Dallas Cowboys is being asked how his third-string quarterback looks. That's a problem.
No, it's not a problem. It's not. It's a confidence. It gives him confidence, but at the same time, I don't know if y'all really noticed.
Go ahead.
When Mike McCarthy said that other people do quarterbacking differently.
Yep. Everyone does quarterbacking differently.
So that means they didn't do. That means I'm taking a shot at San Fran on that one.
Okay.
I didn't do the right things I need to do to get this quarterback correctly. Now, at the end, he said he got to work on footwork.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Else up. So I'm like, hold on. What's going on here?
Yeah,
I've
been there for 2 days. He already has a specific thing that they need to work on.
There you go.
I will say this: from a tutelage standpoint, moving forward for Trey Lance, is that he's in a better place from a learning standpoint, playing with Mike McCarthy than he is with Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
We know that Mike McCarthy is a quarterback coach. So that's one of the reasons why he's taking over the play calling this year. And he's right. Every organization, every team does do it differently. But I don't think he would learn as much that he's going to learn with Mike McCarthy that he would learn.
To be fair, he also was hurt, and when he came back from being hurt, there was a new starting quarterback.
And they've already come out and said, look, we didn't tailor an offense around Trey Lance. So that's telling you right then with John Lynch, they didn't know how to deal with the situation.
I mean, we only gave him so many weapons. He couldn't figure that out.
He couldn't learn the
in
offense,
San Francisco, it's crazy.
What was the case?
I just think this is why, the Dallas Cowboys are the Dallas Cowboys. Again, the season starts next weekend, like Thursday night. Detroit, Kansas City, Sunday night. Dallas and the New York Giants. And we're wasting time talking about a guy that is not going to play. That's the problem.
So why are you talking about?
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about him talking about him.
But is it really? But you got to think about this. You get a new quarterback, a guy that was a first-round draft pick. The media want to talk about that. That's just what it is.
Dallas.
No one's going to ask Bill Belichick, how does Matt Corral look in practice?
I'll guarantee he'll get a look.
By the way, Matt Corral's the backup quarterback. He's not the third-string quarterback.
It may not just be Trey Lance. When you play quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, it's probably arguably the biggest position in the NFL.
100% right.
As far as the media is concerned.
100%.
They're going to talk about it every single day.
Yeah, head coach, quarterback, Dallas is different than, I don't care, you could be in New York, it's different.
I agree. On a human level, I feel so good for Trey Lance because if you think about his entire journey with San Francisco, remember they didn't even have him slotted as the number 3 pick. Yeah. They called his name, and he is the future of the franchise. They gave him 3 first round for me. He must feel so good about his position in that franchise and his future there. And then it doesn't really start great, and then he gets hurt, and then the Brock Purdy things happen, the Jimmy Garoppolo thing happens, and it's a nightmare through and through. And for him to be able to get this fresh start, just to put on a new uniform and to be with a new place that gave up an asset for him, I'm rooting for him to do well because
so I want to get this right.
So poorly.
You're trying to become a better hater, but you're concerned about the emotional welfare of a guy who made $35 million.
I'm just trying to specifically hate the Jets. Okay, that's the trouble I'm having.
You've been extremely emotional today.
Yeah,
you have. I'm a sensitive person.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm a sensitive person. I care about my fellow man.
I don't know if it's the super moon or what's going on.
It's the blue moon.
You have been all over the place with your emotions.
Listen,
today.
I feel I'm sensitive. I'm in touch with who I am. I just hope Trey's feeling okay. You know what? He did make $35 million with San Francisco.
$35 million don't mean nothing if you're not right mentally.
So, guys, I'd rather be off mentally with $35 million in the bank than be totally good mentally and be broke.
$35 million would really help my mental standing. Let's just say that.
No doubt about it.
More problems.
Now he's in tax-free state.
Now he is. I agree with more money, more problems. We're going the other way. I'm going away with that.
So anyway, Trey Lance is in Dallas and they love him. Okay, great. You know what's so funny about that? This offseason, Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones have said the two quarterbacks that look really good so far are named Trey Lance and Cooper Rush.
Wow.
I haven't seen a single quote about how great Dak Prescott's looked this preseason. Anyway, let's go to another story that's out there, and that's Joe Douglas and the New York Jets. Joe Douglas has been the Jet GM for 5 years now. They've never had a winning season with him as general manager, but no one's going to dispute the fact that he has had a brilliant draft a year ago, getting Sauce Gardner, getting Garrett Wilson. Looks like this year's draft is going to pay dividends as well. And oh, by the way, he acquired Aaron Rodgers and Dalvin Cook, making him by far executive of the year. But with all that come expectations. Some guys like to shy away from that. Some guys run to it and embrace it. Here's Joe Douglas.
I said it earlier. We're not running. We're hiding from any expectations that are out there. I think when the dust settles, you want to be in the conversation as one of those teams that can compete for a Super Bowl. You get a ticket into the dance and anything happens.
But it's almost like this offseason, he was playing in a real-life fantasy football league, right? Yeah. I'll take, I'm picking 6. I'll take Aaron Rodgers. Right. I need a running back. Who can I get at running back? Oh, I'll take Dalvin Cook, right?
Wide receiver? Need a wide receiver?
Yeah. Oh, I'll get Al Lazard. Right? I mean, he's had a pretty special offseason.
You can't run from it. You can't hide from it, especially here in New York. Nobody is going to let you hide from it.
Nope. Yeah.
Especially when you make the acquisitions of Aaron Rodgers and you bring in Dalvin Cook. And all of the guys that Aaron Rodgers basically walked upstairs and told him, go get my guys here, then the expectations are already set. So all you can do now is run toward all the expectations and hopefully now it can be a successful season.
Part of that interview yesterday, we don't have it for you, so you just have to take my word for it, was talking about how they're also in a position as needs may come up throughout a season to address those needs. What he's talking about is that they have a boatload of money, just under $20 million available still, under the cap to go sign another guy again. Guy gets hurt, something happens, whatever the case may be. Which is why when you talk about Devontae Adams in Vegas, who if they get off to a bad start may want to be traded. Mike Evans in Tampa, who's clearly already setting the table for a trade demand come the trade deadline in mid to late October. The New York Jets will be a team that has the ability to pivot very quickly and get involved.
If the New York Jets were to acquire either Mike Evans or Devontae Adams, I'd be kind of salty. That's too many weapons.
Yeah.
You can't have everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get one or two of those guys, man, I would change my tune and say that the New York Jets,
I don't want you to change your tune.
If they have the money to go get one of those two guys and they land in Jersey,
changes everything.
It does.
I mean, they're already a really good team anyway.
Yeah.
But they would then have, look, we all talk about Waddle and Tyreek Hill down in Florida with the Dolphins. If they added Dalvin Cook, oh my gosh, how do you stop that offense? Right, if you have Aaron Rodgers and you have Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, I know Randall Cobb's not a big part of the offense just based on his age. If you put a Devontae Adams or Mike Evans on the other side of the field, it is the best offense in football.
It would be.
It would be.
It would be special
definitely
to see.
And the other person that we keep forgetting is Hartman.
Yes, McCall Hartman.
Hartman. And we keep forgetting about him. Like that's going to be a deep ball threat. That's somebody that can stretch the field and also get your ball, get him underneath route and turn it into a 30 to 40 yard play. So I mean, you can't forget about that. That's another weapon that they have, and that's locked in.
When you watch Hard Knocks, you see just how much Aaron Rodgers knows about the game of football. He's a veteran. He's been there for 19 years. But one thing he also knows is about the business of football. And we celebrated him when he restructured his contract. And the implications were, oh, hey, maybe they can get Dalvin Cook. But Craig brings up a good point. They've got more salary cap. They're not done building their roster, and they have the ability now because of the restructured contract. If an injury happens or if someone becomes available, they can take action.
Well, first of all, I didn't celebrate it. Craig did.
That's correct.
Yeah.
When you restructured this deal to get better players in, I didn't celebrate it. I wouldn't do it.
Let me rephrase that. When he restructured his contract, Craig celebrated it.
By the way,
I apologize.
When he had pom-poms and everything in there. He wanted to make him say, can I get the face paint?
Do me a favor.
He was like really excited.
If you guys could put the Mike Evans agent quote up there, if that's possible at all. Mike Evans' agent spoke earlier today about Mike Evans wanting to play for a team that wants him to be there and wants to win a championship. Now, he also would like to be a Buccaneer for life if that's possible.
Would he really?
Here's the go full screen just real quick, guys.
Be a Buccaneer for life.
Here's the key thing. Mike wants the next phase of his career to be with an organization who wants him, Jets, and wants him, Jets, to help Jets win a Super Bowl, Jets. Now, there are other teams that come to mind. Kansas City's an obvious one, right? Of course. But the New York Jets, the Bills maybe as well. That statement right there reads, hey, New York, make the phone call. And again, I would love it. So would you, Scott. You're all right.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I definitely would.
Yeah, all they got to do is go like 1-5 out of the gate, fire Todd Bowles, and then start trading dudes like Mike Evans. And I'll be the first guy.
On Todd Bowles.
I've said this a million times. Todd Bowles is a great guy, a great defensive coordinator, and a lousy head coach.
Wow.
Let's keep it straight.
He's not lousy.
Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck.
No.
Keep it a buck.
Give him a little more respect.
Great guy.
Give him more respect than that.
Great coordinator.
Give him more respect.
Lousy head coach.
No.
He's like North Turner.
Exactly how the show always is on a Friday. Disagreeing. I love it. I love it.
All right, we got to get out of here. So let's go to Like It or Spike It. And it's a very special one because today's Like It or Spike It involves that guy.
What?
Tim Hardaway celebrates his birthday today. So happy birthday, big fella. Love you, appreciate you.
Look forward to having you back.
We go say we like it. Right?
I don't like the picture.
We love it. We love it.
Now, real quick, college football this weekend.
Why the picture?
TCU beats Colorado by 40.
Colorado by 2 touchdowns.
There you go.
Colorado by 2.
Why doesn't Tim Hardaway have a shirt on?
So predictable.
Why is
so
he shirt on?
predictable?